Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of IVoT Investment Insight. I'm your host, Andrew Tang, and I want to remind everyone that there will be forward-looking statements mentioned in this video, as well as this is purely for educational and informational only. So these are not investment advice, and I encourage you to stay to the end to read the full disclosure. So this week, three things I want to talk about. First thing is the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell testified before Congress regarding the state of economy as well as interest rate, where it could be heading. We know that the Federal Reserve is operating what's called the dual mandate, where the Federal Reserve cannot cut interest rates too early, because if it does, then it will hinder the work that it has done to curb inflation. So inflation, where it is right now, is roughly about 3%. It has come down quite a bit, but there's still more, basically more work to do in terms of controlling inflation or creating an environment to foster disinflation. And so the higher interest rates right now with the Fed funds rate at 5.5%, what translate to roughly about, if you're getting a mortgage, you're looking at anywhere from 7 to 7.5%. If you're trying to get a business loan, it's more like 8.5%. So these are restrictive environment in terms of financial conditions. And so that's one mandate that the Federal Reserve is operating on. Cannot cut rates too soon, but the Federal Reserve cannot cut rates too late. If it cuts rates too late, then it's going to hinder, the economy, and is risking the economy falling into a really nasty recession. So the dual mandate, it's quite important. And as usual, we will always expect the Federal Reserve to say that to be determined. So the second factor that the Federal Reserve pay attention to is the employment or unemployment numbers. And that data came out for June, and surprise, surprise, it's above 4%, just like in May. In May, it rose to 4%, and for June, it actually climbed to 4.1%. It doesn't look like a lot, but here, if we show this chart courtesy of Trading Economics, we'll see the bar chart since July of last year. It has been steadily climbing up. And so this unemployment data, it's not exactly a surprise to us, especially when we have been talking about artificial intelligence, automation, software efficiency, growth of productivity, and how it affects different jobs. Last week, we talked about all different types of jobs that will be affected by artificial intelligence. And so if you haven't seen that, we encourage you to, take a listen or watch the video. Another chart that I want to bring up is the U3 and U4 unemployment data. So we see the U3 employment data hit 4.1%. We see this curve that is developing. And we also see the spike that was from COVID. But we can see that this spike in unemployment, it's quite expected. And so I expect unemployment to tick up further from here. And so that will encourage the Federal Reserve to lower rates sooner rather than later. And so the higher for longer environment, hopefully it won't last too long into 2024. And again, as expected, the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates most likely 2 to 3 times this year. The June cut did not happen. And so now we're expecting a cut in September, and some even say that it will go on to November to have a first cut. But nevertheless, I'd like to reiterate, as expressed last week, that the bond traders out there, they are still seeing 3 percentage point reduction for interest rates by March of next year. So this is a huge bet that the bond traders are putting. And so we will see how that develops. Now, talking about artificial intelligence and automation, software of the like, The second thing I want to talk about is the growing interest in humanoid robots. And also, I like to provide some updates for Tesla. Now, humanoid robots was introduced by Tesla when Tesla introduced Optimus in 2022. Prior to that, in one form of it or another, you probably have seen robots developed by a company called Boston Scientific, right? The robot dog we have seen. Also, we've seen human figure robot, but the hands are the main difference. What was different about Optimus is that Optimus, the humanoid robot, has actuators that enable the robot to have functioning fingers. And that really sets it apart because we have seen Boston Scientific and other robots that manipulate items or pick up items by using force or friction or suction cups. But Optimus or other humanoid robots, they're different because of the finger movement. They're able to do more things, and their function will be more human-like. Now, that is attracting lots of venture money from companies like Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, and Microsoft. And we don't see this trend slowing down anytime soon. Now, who's on the forefront of these companies outside of Tesla? And, who knows, maybe Boston Scientific will also make a version, with the actuators. But you may not have heard of the companies, but Agility Robotics, Apptronic, and also Sanctuary AI. These are the three example companies that are in the forefront of this. So I encourage you, we're going to include a link down below to the video titled Rise of the AI Power Robots that's prepared by CNBC. It provides a pretty good insight on what we are seeing in this particular trend. Now, humanoid robots have been touted the reason why Tesla believe that it will become a $25 trillion market cap company. So, for example, Elon Musk have mentioned from the last shareholder meeting that the real revenue for the company or for the company to go 10x is not just from selling cars, but also including the mega packs that it sells to utility companies. That has a higher profit margin from 15% to more of the 20-25% for mega packs. Now, for robotaxis, where the revenue model becomes software as a service, we're looking at somewhere around upwards of 50% profit margin. So that's a much more enticing revenue models that we can see, and there will be a completely new category for the street analysts, Wall Street analysts to understand and to evaluate. And so, in order for the company to grow 10x, robotaxi, software as a service. In addition to that, Elon said that the real future of Tesla lies in Optimus, the robot. So we're definitely excited about that. And the excitement is spreading among the investment arena as well. So we're welcoming this news. Another update I want to provide is that Tesla is currently building a supercomputer cluster in the south end of the Giga Texas facility. And according to Elon, is going to be an amazing facility to be able to help train their AI model. And it's also going to help power the robotaxis network as well as training Optimus, for new tasks. So we definitely are excited about this. As mentioned before, the robotaxis launch date is delayed till October. So we also look forward to that. So many of you may not know, but Tesla also participated in the World AI Conference that took place in Shanghai in early July. During this conference, it was really exciting to learn that the Senior Vice President Tom Zhu actually spoke with the Chinese Premier Li Quan on Tesla's full self-driving capabilities, as well as the latest tech development. And so this is also very exciting. Another update that I want to talk about is the Chinese government actually has approved Tesla Model Y for government use. Now, that makes this the first time a foreign auto manufacturing vehicle have been included in the government's list of approved item for purchase. And so because the Model Y is produced in Giga Shanghai, and the government has basically examined and approved Tesla for the use of its government fleet. So this is very exciting. It bodes well for vehicle sales, EV sales for Tesla in China, in Asia, but it also speaks volume of how the Chinese government is working with Tesla on a couple of these businesses. Okay, so the third thing I want to talk about is there are some anti-tourist protests brewing in certain cities and certain countries. So the protesters feel that the money generated from tourism, they are not being passed down to benefit the citizens. And so that caused the rise in real estate prices to the citizens. They feel that it caused inflation. And so many cities that happen to be tourist hotspots, they actually have implemented several things to combat tourism. So many of you may not know, but Milan has said that it would ban ice cream sales on the street after midnight. Another example is Venice. Venice began charging tourists an entry fee of €5 as it looked to find a new balance for tourism and its citizens. Amsterdam implemented new restrictions on hotel build-out, so they don't want to build any new hotels to curb over tourism. Iceland is another country that reinstated its tourism tax for 2024. To the other side, in Asia, Mount Fuji implemented entry fees for hikers amid new crowd control measure. So all these items, they are there to really highlight the frustrations that the citizens are feeling about tourism. You know, the citizens get to the streets, they're all crowded. They feel like they can't even, walk their own streets without bumping into tourists. They go to restaurants and they see that it's overcrowded. But we have to look at the financial or the business model on tourism, how it contributes to global economy. So if you see this, tourism around the globe in 2024 has generated about $11 trillion. And that is no small potato. This is a huge dollar amount. So tourism is not going away. But we just need to be able to find a nice balance. And again, I'll also link the video below just so that the viewers can get an insight on what this means with the anti-tourist protest. It is not nice because if you're on vacation, this is already precious time that you're taking, but who wants to run into anti-tourist protests? But nevertheless, these are the things that are happening. So that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank you for watching to the end. Stay tuned if you want to receive more updates from Investment Insights of IVoT. And also, if you have any questions, any topics that you want to talk about, please leave comments below. Hit the like button if you like this video, and subscribe if you want to continue to get notification for new videos like this. Again, I thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week.